Okay, here we are back with the mother testing platform. You'll notice, like I mentioned, we've got our companion chip, mother testing platform number 1 over here. And this is where we're going to start using multiple grids to prove how mother can be useful in a multi-grid environment. So firstly, I'm just going to line us up here so we have our connectors lined up. Because this is a really important point I want to make very early on. So let me just make sure my event controller should be fine. So one of the biggest challenges was determining what mechanical systems mother can work with. So as soon as we connect, the grids themselves, if we go into our terminal, in fact, they become the same grid. And this is really a big challenge because we don't want our grid sending commands to the grid it's docked with unnecessarily. And that is, I don't want to tell my grid to move its arms when my companion chip also has an arm that I don't want to move. But I'm happy to say that we can use mother to filter so that anything connected by a connector is by default omitted, but anything connected on a subgrid via a piston, a rotor, or a hinge is included. That gives you full autonomy on anything you would consider like an onboard mechanical system. So if we run our in command, we're going to run we'll notice our arm goes in, but the other grid does not. And as soon as it's back to its rest position, I'll prove my point. And I hit out, and you'll notice only the arm on our ship retracts, even though, technically speaking, the pistons, rotors, and the hinges on the other grid are named the exact same way. So we have full segregation of concerns when it comes to docking with other ships. And this is really important. I can't really stress that enough. Okay, so we're going to undock. And now we're going to look at how we can use our event controller to give us a little bit more virtual or visual feedback, right? So we talked earlier about how we can make the lights change colors. So let's revisit that really quickly. So if we go into mother, we'll go down to our command terminal here, and we're just going to go light color, and we're going to set light 1 to red. Okay. We're going to use this now to give a little bit of visual feedback for when we dock, right? You can imagine you're somewhere else on your ship. You know, maybe you're configuring landing lights and you want them to change colors depending on the connector status. We can do that here. So we're going to find our event block, or event controller rather, and we're going to call it on connector 1 dock. We're going to go down here, we're going to select the connector lock unlock, and we're going to add our connector, which it's already in here, it would be here. Connector 1 is our left hand side connector right here. And then we're going to go to our setup actions, and this is where we're using mother. So for those of you that haven't used an event block, they're quite straightforward. The first block is the true value, and the second block is the false value. That is the connector connected, what to do when the connector is not connected. So if our connector connects, we want our light to be green. So we're going to run light color, light 1, green. We'll copy that so we've got it again, hit confirm, we'll just call it green. And of course, when we're undocked, we want the light to be red. So we'll go here, we'll run mother again, but this time we'll change it to red. Call it red. And that is to say, when we're docked, I want the light to be green, and when we're not docked, I want the light to be red. So now let's take a look at how that works. So we'll roll up to get docked here. When I press the parking button, we'll see that light turn green. And as soon as we unpark, we see the light turn back to red. And this can be used across any of the event controller's actions. So like I said, I typically incorporate a blink as well as a color in my lights when I'm doing docking. So it really gives you good visual feedback for the pilot as they're coming in. How would I do a blink, you might ask? Very similar. If we go back down here to light 1, we're going to go light blink instead. And I've got some presets that I think you'll find most useful. So we'll just blink it at fast to prove our point. Light blink, light 1, the first light. We're going to make it blink fast. When we hit run, we'll see that light begins to blink like that. Okay, I think that summarizes the event controller pretty adequately. Timer blocks, buttons, they all work the same, right? You're assigning mother to them as actions and just running an argument. Next up, I want to show you guys how to run remote commands. I think this will really show you the value that mother brings. I'll see you there.